Welcome everyone in this new live video development about Auto Battler. In this video we're going to make it so our AI have some kind of else bar and do some damage to each other. So let's dive right in. We're going to open up our unit blueprint, and we're going to go to widgets and create a new folder called units. Let's make that, actually we're going to delete that and we're going to go to units folder and create a new folder there called widgets, and we're going to add a user interface widgets else bar, and we are also going to create a new widget component which is going to host that else bar widget components. I call that WGC else bar. This is hosting on else bar, so we need to specify it there. It's going to display it on screen at desired size, and the pivots is going to be that. Yes, it is. The else bar is going to not use a canvas panel, only a progress bar, like that. The progress bar is going to be of the desired size. We're going to say custom size. Actually, it's going to be like 100 on 10. It's going to be half filled and I don't know, green by default or red by default, and it's going to be half filled just so we can see what's going on. And I'm going to modify the color of the background image because I don't like when it's like that. I'd rather have it this way. So we have some kind of else bar. What if we had the else bar in there? Else bar attach, and we're going to put it there. If we hit play, we have some kind of else bar, but it's really thin because I think we need to put that in a size box if we want it to behave the way we want, and it's going to be like 80 on 7. Okay, it's a bit too large. 60 on 7. 60 on 8, and it's not going to be black. Actually, we're going to let it white for now just to see how it looks like. Okay, it's a little bit too large, and it's a little bit not too low, like that. Okay, we can drag and drop stuff still. But the else bar is not following, so we're going to attach it to the skeletal mesh. And I just want to have some fun. When we set drag states, I just want to do something like set relative rotation, so it's always going to be minus 90, but I want it to be like that. Roll like that. Roll 55, like the other way around. Yeah, it feels a little bit rigid with the snap. So I'm going to remove the snap. Yeah, and I'm going to reduce the size of the of the square. Oh, maybe we're gonna crash. No, we're not. Yeah, of course, units are kinda lost. So if we add only one, I want it to be like that. Yeah, it's kinda laggy, doesn't like it. we're going to have like three units, one from the other team, which is going to be an archer. Yeah, it's better with a smaller sized square. Yep, so I'm just going to move that real quick, like this. And I think I'm going to be closer from the game. Yep, like that. So if I press I, they still fight. Okay. So now we need to make sure. I don't like the padding on that one. I really don't like it. But it doesn't matter. It feels like I can't do much about it. Yeah, I can't do much about it. So we have else bar. I closed it, but we will need that. And I think the unit is going to send information over is else bar. So on take damage, we're going to have something like this amount, and it's going to get its else bar like that. Return value, we're going to promote that to a variable. Else bar reference, and if it's valid, we're just going to return it. And if it's not valid, we're going to grab that, get widgets, get widget, cast to else bar, and store that into our variable like this. And it's going else bar is going to be full by default, and it's going to take a variable. It's going to have a reference, set new else, and it's going to have another function, set max else. Set max else is going to ask for a float, and set new else as well. Set new else is actually going to be called reduce else. Well, no, sets current else actually, like that. So how is it gonna be done? It's quite easy. I assume we're going to have two variables, one max else, one current else. We're going to store that, we're going to divide that by our max else, and we're going to say our percent is equal this. And max else, we're going to say our max else is equal that, and the current else is equal to the same amount. And just for the sake of debugging, we're going to make sure it's half empty. So if it's not firing, it means if it's not filled, it means we have a bug in our system. So the else bar is ready to get updated. So on take damage, get else bar, set new current else. We want that, and we also want to have the same kind of variable there, max else, current else, and we're going to do some kind of cleanup. So we have some kind of combat category now. This is going to be in the I don't know, reference, I suppose. This is going to be return talking about if it's not square, it's about the grid. Current battlefield is about the grid. This is going to be about the stats, AI state as well, rotation speed, team, unit data row, and this is going to be related to animations. We are not using this, if I remember correctly. Yep, we deleted that. This is going to be combat related. So on take damage, we're going to reduce our current health by the amount of damage we took. So if that result is inferior, is greater than 0, greater than 1, we're gonna say we're going to set current health to that amount. If not, then we're going to say we have 0 health. And in any case, actually, we're going to do that, but in that case, we're going to do this. Well, actually not. We're going to do the manipulation first, and then do the require the tests. Sorry. So like that is current else. In any case, we're going to update that, but we're just going to clamp it. The maximum value is that, and the minimum value is 0. What does it? Maximum value is max health. Current health, if it's equal 0, we're going to print something. Actually, we're just going to destroy the actor for now. It's going to throw errors, but at least we'll see that something is happening. So it's still half empty because we did not initialize the else bar. We have to initialize it. So what is the value of max else? Well, it's a value we need to specify in our unit stat. In there, else by default it's going to be like 20. We don't care. So if we get our unit data row, we break that, we put the else there. So since we plug the value by default, units is going to return 20 by default, and we're going to set the archer as like 10. So if we hit play, it's full units are now full else. We still need to fix that, to fix the fact to do the system that deals damage. So I think we need to do some kind of manipulations that it always deal damage as it was supposed to. What I mean by that is with server has to handle the damage, because else we're gonna have some kind of desynchronization. So we need the server when he uses the attack system to actually trigger something else, which is going to be trigger attack by default. So this is on server. So in that place we want to know who is going to take the damage, and is he going to die. If so, we want to disable the fact that it can deal damage. So we'll also have some kind of damage value up in our unit system, health and damage, and probably as well attack rate. Let's say attack rate is like 0.2 by default, damage is like 5 by default. So wherever we have broke the structure, we are going to have to hide the stuff we just added to the structure, like that. So we have damage and stuff like that. We're just going to say that the archer shots slower, but like a truck. So how are we gonna do this? So this is triggering whenever needed by the server. It wants to grab its target, but it doesn't know its target right now because the target is located in the behavior tree. I think we're going to need to store a reference to the target of the unit there. So we're going to have a function called get set targets, set focus target, set target. It's gonna be fine, and it's going to return the targets, chosen targets. It's going to not be a pure function, and instead of infine closest target, if instead of doing this, we're going to set targets, and we're going to pass the chosen target as parameter, and in there we're going to do the same thing we were doing for our, but in the unit, so we can store the target we are focusing. It's going to be set attacked targets, and this is going to be called attacked targets. It's going to be located in the combat category, and we want to set the attack target for ourselves like this, and we're going to return the attack target. So when we do that, I think we do something like two things. We do something like we do something dirty for now, just for the sake of testing things. We're going to modify, we're going to reduce the health of our target. How is it called? On take damage. And how much damage we do? We do damage based on our data row, which is their damage. So after a few delay, we deal damage to the target we chose, and we're going to multicast, in any case, the animation. So what does it say? Okay, they one-shot each other instantly. So it throws errors because we made them destroy when they died, and actually we don't want that. We're just going to print something for now. But everybody died instantly, and I had a feeling it was kind of strange. I'm going to reduce the amount of damage they deal, like 3 and 2. I mean like 4 and 7. Okay, they one-shot each other, so I guess that's because else is not properly initialized, or y, the minimum value here we say set current else in there. Hmm, sounds logical. We're just going to print the amount of else we have. 0 it says. Why does it say 0? We wonder. How much damage do we take? Okay, we take the right amount, 4 and 7. And what is the... Okay, we did not initialize that else. I'm sorry. So when we set up the cosmetics, we actually extract data from row. And we actually get the max else, and we set the current else to max else, like that. Okay, so they are dealing damage to each other. And I think we need to do something to make them disappear and not break the code when they die, because all their behavior tree is still triggering. So I guess we need to send him back to the static state when he dies. So start combat is actually going to turn into something else. So this is going to be called set AI state. And when we start combat, we send him to looking for targets. And when he dies, we're going to send him to static state. And how does it behave there? Yeah, it sounds correct. If we delete that, this, okay, sounds correct. So when it dies, we send him to static state, and we want to check. Actually, we're going to send him to the death state. Set AI state. I mean, on tech damage, we're going to collapse that to a function and call that on death. When the unit dies, it's going to go to the dead state, like this. And when it's in the dead state, it's going to wait as well. On value change, we want the dead state is going to wait as well. But might be, can we set the visibility or hide in some sort? No, okay, we can't in there. So we're just going to set actor hidden in game for just for the sake of testing, like this. On this is going to be hidden, and we want to, when we find the target to focus, when we get the closest enemy units, we'll check if the target gets states. We're going to find the state of our AI, and we're going to ask if the AI is not static. If it is not, we're going to validate that. And then we're going to need to somehow rerun that logic if the target changes, if our target dies. And I'm not sure we can do that right now without doing some kind of manipulation in there. But let's just see what happens when they die. So if I press I, nothing happens. And I'm not sure why. Okay, I know why. Because when we start combats, oh, we rightfully said looking for targets. So maybe it's not working in there. So it's not working, and we need to store that state as well. So why is it not working? I think that's just because it fails to give it the proper value in there. Because I think that's where, okay, it reworks for some reason. So it does work when they die. But they keep attacking the same targets. But I think we want them to rerun that logic, their closest target logic, after the attacks. We're going to do it like this, and if we add another archer, what it is going to do? Okay, they're not switching targets. For now, we're going to destroy them just for the sake of. We can't destroy them, but maybe we can disable their collision. No collision, and we're going to set actor visible. We want to hide everything. It's not visible, and it has no collision. And our little find closest target logic did not work apparently. I think, I'm not sure why. Set attacked target. In there we loop through everything. We make sure their AI state is not static. Okay, we want to make sure the AI state is not dead, and it's going to work. They're going to switch target, yep. And it didn't rotate, mostly because we didn't build the logic, or else it would have rotated. So maybe we're just going to build the rotate logic. I think we can just say rotate towards target, rotate to face BB entry, precision 10% target, yes. They're going to switch rotation there. Okay, they're not. I'm not sure why. I think that fails. I'm not sure, but I think that fails for some reason. So that's why they never attack again. So if I hit play, what happens? Yeah, it's locked in rotate to face BB entry. Precision 100. I don't know what precision mean here. But apparently it repaired. Oh, so the footman won. We thought about that. I thought the archer were going to win. Okay, it failed. It failed to rotate. We can clearly see it failed to rotate. But we now have some kind of combat going on, and we can already do some kind of battle. That's pretty hilarious. Okay, so the archer just dismantle them. And we can see why so many auto chess have troubles with the pathfinding. What happens in that kind of case? Haha, I don't know. So, why is it failing? I think we should just be building our own rotation node. I think that's what we're going to do actually. So we have a new task to build, which is going to be called rotates to targets, and I think it's not going to retain to it's going to it's not going to the unit is going to attack in the same time it is rotating, I think. Yeah, we're going to make that in the units. We're going to have a new function called rotates to targets, and we're going to set the actor rotation. We're going to is to interp from the current actor rotation to find look at rotation from our position to our target position, and we only going to take the yaw in there. We're going to break that. We only want to lerp the yaw, and we want to get the world delta seconds. Interp speed is going to be rotation speed, like this, and we're going to rotate, and we're going to check if we need to rotate or not. B should rotate, and if both values are the same, we're going to stop rotates right away. Like this, we're going to check by 2 precision. I'm not sure precision is the same is the same than in our own in their own rotate node. So what our node is going to do, rotate is just going to call rotate to target. Now it will just call set should rotate equals to true, and in our units, oh, I closed the behavior tree, but we need that. In our unit, we need to be calling that function in our tick event, rotate to target, like this. And we're not going to be rotating towards our movement. Okay, it shouldn't trigger, I think. Maybe that's a problem. I'm not sure. We're in it. We're going to check. If we're not rotating because of an attack, we have the right to rotate because of our movement. And we need to be calling our task in our behavior tree, rotate to face PB entry. It's not going to be that. Rotate to target, like this. And what happens? We can't know, and we have errors because attack target is empty. That's quite strange. Okay, they died. Yeah, their attack target is empty. Because if this is not valid, I think we need to send the units it's not going to be there. I think in here, if we don't find the target, we're going to send the AI in the static mode, and I think it will get rid of the errors, but I'm not sure. So like that, we're going to send him static, and I think it's going to get rid of the errors, but we did not see the rotation, and I want to see it. Okay, it didn't get rid of the errors, so that's quite strange. I'm not sure how I can get to see the rotation. Okay, I'm dumb. Okay, it rotated. Apparently it rotated, but we have another issue now. So what is the error? We don't have any attack target to rotate to, and I find it really hard to believe. I find it really hard to believe because I don't have the feeling we send the guy. If it spawns hello, so it's not spawning hello, and I'm not sure how it can say we cannot rotate to the target, because except if it never finishes. Okay, we can see it finishes, so it should not. I'm not sure how we end up in that situation. If we are at target, we're going to rotate to target, but my target might be dead. So when we reach that, we're going to check if we have a target, and I believe it's going to make the difference. And it doesn't. So it's looking even stranger now. How can this value be empty when we always get out by that place? I need to see when the errors pop. Right at the beginning. So maybe I earned. Okay, maybe I know what's wrong. Maybe the problem is that it just fires find targets right away. So yeah, right at the beginning it triggers. Okay, I know why. That's just because the variable should rotate is true by default. Okay. So we're not going to have that kind of issue anymore. But we have this kind of issue. But I think that's going to be for another video, because we have guys, we have some kind of we have our units fighting each other. We're like on the right track. So hope you guys enjoyed that video, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.